Breaking right now at 4, the D.C. Council moving ahead with the controversial deal to bring the commanders back to the district. Thank you for joining us today for News 4 at 4. I'm Erica Gonzalez.
And I'm Joseph Olmo. Moments ago, the council passed its first vote on the multi-billion-dollar deal to transform the old RFK site. It is a topic that, depending on who you talk to, seen a lot of support from D.C. residents and leaders, but also one that continues to receive a lot of pushback. Mayor Muriel Bowser was not part of today's council meeting, but she did show up just in time to see the vote pass in person in the last hour. News 4 cameras and our own Mark Segraves have been there as well. Mark joins us live now with the very latest. Mark, walk us through what happened and sort of the hours-long lead up to this moment.
Yeah, well, first they started 90 minutes late this morning, and the reason for that was because they were still negotiating project labor agreements with labor unions and the team. This had been a big point of contention during the hearings with the council and the team earlier this week, that many council members wanted more guarantees that the development, not just of the stadium, but the surrounding development of the housing and the hotels would use labor, union labor, for the construction of those projects. At the last minute this morning, they got those assurances, and that is what led, for two people at least, Janice Lewis-George, council member, and Councilmember Zachary Parker, who had been considered swing votes, possibly no votes. They swung to yes this morning at the last minute, and that was the delay before everything started. So that was kind of the drama behind the scenes leading up to today's vote. And then during today's vote, you had Councilmember Robert White, who had been complaining about many factors of this deal, saying that it wasn't a good deal. He had 3 amendments that he proposed to the legislation. All 3 of those amendments failed. In the end, Councilmember Robert White, Ward 3 Councilmember Matt Fruman, and Councilmember Brian Nadeau all voted no. The other 9 council members voted yes for a 9-3 vote. Take a listen to what the 3 no votes said to justify their votes.
The problem I have is on this accountability for the delivery of the mixed-use development. It is a very, very important issue. And just relying on the hope of parallel interests is not the way business deals work. In the end, the commanders rejected those modest mechanisms, and that is very, very troubling.
It doesn't sit right that we don't have money for school buildings, but we have money for a stadium. It doesn't sit right that we don't have money to fix our police stations or fire stations, but we have money for a stadium. It doesn't sit right that we hit our limit for helping first-time homeowners on Talbot Street and Ward 8 whose homes and futures collapsed because of the city, but we have it for a stadium. Make it make sense.
We should not be forced into approving a multi-billion-dollar deal that will lock in the future direction for a major part of the city and its economy for the next century or more in mere hours, based on an artificial deadline set by the team and the mayor. It's irresponsible, and I'm a no.
So in the room today for the vote, you had the vice president of real estate for the team, Andy Van Horn. He refused to make any comments as he left here after this vote that went the commanders' way. The commanders are expected to issue a statement at some point. Mayor Bowser also showed up at the last minute, just in time for the vote. Tomorrow is her birthday. She was in a very celebratory mood as she left the hearing today. Very happy about the way the vote went, expressing her disappointment in the 3 no votes, but very confident that when we get to September, mid-September, when we come back for the second and final vote, that it will also be approved. So this is just the first vote. We still need a second vote next month, but this, if you are pro-stadium, if you want the team back, this is the news you've been waiting for. This is the vote you've been waiting for. Everything is on track now to bring the Washington Commanders back to Washington, D.C.
Mark, let me ask you really quickly what would happen next and whether or not things could change before that second vote. Of course, still factoring in quite possibly the addition of another council member by then.
True. So Councilmember Trayon White from Ward 8 will be back on the council and will get to vote for the second vote. But unlike this vote, where there was a technical reason that they needed a supermajority because of a chief financial officer report, they won't need that same supermajority for the second vote. They'll only need 7 votes. They had 9 today, so it's unlikely that the council member Trayon White, when he returns to the council, would be a swing vote in any way on this vote. Here's what's going to happen, and I can guarantee you that the legislation that was passed today will change somewhat between now and September 17th when they take the second vote, because several council members did express concern that they did not like that they don't think there's enough of a penalty and an incentive for the team to get the surrounding development around the stadium done in a timely fashion. They want to see more deadlines put on that before the second vote. So that's what we're looking to see change between now and then.
All right, Mark Segraves, a lot more ground to cover. Thank you for being with us. Stay with News 4 as we continue following this developing story. As we have mentioned, this is not yet a done deal, and there will be another council vote later, as Mark mentioned, in the month of September. When we're off air, you can find all of the latest news online and in our NBC Washington app.